welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while, but as you can see, we've relocated. So it was a pretty big move, but now we're ready to get started again with our videos. So today I wanted to make something that's really good for winter coming up. It's something easy to make. Only, actually 5 ingredients. Can't get much simpler than that. So it's gonna be chicken and dumplings. And it's something you can put in a crock pot and have the next day as well. So pretty easy and inexpensive to do. So got a pound of chicken, boneless, skinless, that we're gonna use. I've got 2 cans of chicken with herb soup, a stick of butter, chicken broth, which I've got a couple of these because we'll just add it as we are moving along. And then I have frozen dumplings. This is what I can find here. I know they're kind of hard to find in some places. I think there's a Mary B's brand. And there's another one I can't think of that they sell in the South, but these work really good if you can find them. So the first step, which is pretty simple, we're just gonna put the chicken in our pan, big stock pot on the stove here. To me, it's easier to make it on the stove than in a crock pot. But then after it's made, you know, just keep it warm in a crock pot works really good. So just dump that chicken in the bottom of the pan. And we're gonna add our whole stick of butter. Salted or unsalted, whatever you have on hand is fine. But I do prefer the real butter versus margarine. Just lay that on top of the chicken. Then we're gonna add our 2 cans of chicken and herb soup. If you can't find the cream of chicken with herb, you can just use the cream of chicken. I like it better with the herb. I do think it makes a difference, but if you can't find it, that's fine. Sometimes I'll even add a can of cream of celery with a can of the chicken and herb. So once that's all in, we're just gonna cover this with some chicken broth. To start off, we're probably going to use this whole 32-ounce container. All right, so once that's in there, we're just going to let this boil until the chicken is done, and then we'll pull the chicken out and we'll shred that apart. All right, as you can see, this is boiling pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is take the chicken out. I'll turn this heat down a little bit. I'm going to take the chicken out, move it over to this cutting board, and then I'll just break it apart with forks. It cooked pretty fast because I used the chicken tenderloins instead of the whole chicken breasts. All right, I'll just lay this aside. All right, so I'm just gonna shred up the chicken, pull it apart with the 2 forks. So really not a whole lot to this recipe. It's pretty simple. If you want it shredded finer than that, then do whatever you prefer. But try not to overcook it, or it will get tougher to shred it up. All right, that looks pretty good to me. We'll go ahead and put that back in our pan. Careful and don't let that hot broth splash up on you. All right, now that we have all of that in the pan, I'm gonna add a little bit more chicken broth. Maybe about half of this container. And then we'll let that come to a boil. And once that starts to boil, we'll put the dumplings in. So you can turn the heat back up a little bit and just wait for it to boil. You can see it's come to a full boil after I added the second round of chicken broth. So we can go ahead and put the dumplings in. I like to drop them in one at a time. If you drop the whole bag in, it seems like they kind of clump together. So we don't want that. Some of them may be stuck together, which if you can pull them apart, that would be better. But if you can't, that's fine too. And we will use the whole bag. I think the key is to make sure it's boiling pretty good. If it's not, they tend to stick together too much. I think Maisie's ready for some chicken and dumplings. All right, so they're all in there. Just stir it up every now and then to make sure they're not sticking. We'll let this go until the dumplings are done, which will probably be another 10-15 minutes. Okay. All right, so I ended up letting the dumplings go for about 20 minutes so that they weren't gummy. But this is the finished product. As you can see, it turned out pretty good. Can you get a close-up of it? Now, the broth will thicken up the more it sits. So it's just up to you as to what consistency you like. I think this is pretty good the way it is. But if it does thicken up too much, especially if you reheat it tomorrow in the crock pot, the half box of chicken broth that we didn't use, you can just add a little bit in there, stir it in, and as it warms up, it'll get a little bit more liquid to it. So again, it's super easy. It's inexpensive. It's fast. I think I've been at 45 minutes from start to finish. So hopefully you'll give it a try and you'll like it, and I'll see you next time.